Hey, what's up guys? My name is Aiden Martin. I'm a 28-year-old videographer out of Ontario, Canada, and I've been using the DJI mics for the last couple years now, and I absolutely love them for live events, for weddings, things like that. I have a couple little hacks for how to use it effectively. I have a little bit of tips for some setup. So if that's something you're interested in, then keep watching. My absolute favorite thing about the DJI mic, and this is probably its biggest selling feature, is the battery life. The charging case, if I was to need to charge up my receiver or transmitter throughout the day, I can just throw it directly into the charging case if I have my charging case on my camera rig, and then it'll charge up, and then I can go back to shooting. Once you've charged up the transmitter and the receiver, you're good to shoot all day, but that's kind of a good little contingency plan, is you always have that option if there's breaks in the day to throw it into your charging case. And then the charging case itself charges through USB, and it's a very small, compact case. You can throw it in your pocket if you need to be moving around throughout the day. You charge up the charging case once, and then you're good for a multi-day shoot. If you have an event that's gonna take place over 2 days, you're gonna last throughout the entirety of that shoot. So the DJI mic is gonna work with any mirrorless or cinema camera. As long as the camera has a 3.5mm in and out, you're gonna be fine to use it. I use my DJI mic on my Sony a7 IV as well as my Blackmagic 4K. I use the DJI mic for weddings, I use it for live events, all sorts of stuff, even my YouTube videos. I'm using one right now. The direct competitor to the DJI mic would be the Rode Wireless Go 2. I am gonna kind of just focus on the DJI mics because there are some advantages that this thing has. Okay, so first thing I love is the setup and the pairing. Instantly, when you take your DJI mic out of the case, it's instantly going to pair with the transmitter and the receiver. All you need to basically do is mount the receiver onto your camera, connect it through the 3.5mm in and out, and then you're good to go, as long as you turn the DJI mic on, obviously. The first thing you'll notice on the receiver is the levels. So you basically have two different options. You can change the transmitter gain, the receiver gain, and then when the audio gets into the camera, you can change the gain on that as well. So you have lots of different options throughout the kind of like pipeline of the audio. In terms of build quality, it's good. That's basically all there is to it. It's solid metal. If you drop it, I'm not so worried about it. So that's a plus. That's the transmitter. In terms of the case is good construction as well, solid metal. So if I'm transporting it, if I'm putting it on a rig, if I'm throwing it in my camera bag, it's nice and fast, nice and easy to use. In terms of configurations and adding things to the mic, there's a couple options. You could leave the transmitter as it is, or you can connect a lav mic to it. Or if you want, I got a little Jimmy rig thing that I attach to podiums if I'm doing live events. You can attach the mic to it.
Another thing for mounting options is you have a clip which can attach to your shirt, or if you want to use the magnet, there's a magnet that you can throw under the shirt.
And then also what comes in the box is you'll get windscreens. So if you're doing outdoor filming, I didn't use mine today. I don't feel like I need it, but you have that as an option. In terms of sound quality, like any other mic, you obviously want to get it close to your subject, and that's where being able to adjust your gain throughout the transmitter to receiver and receiver to camera, that's where those fine little adjustments really take place. If you're using it as a podium mic, it's good. There is a little bit of a noise floor, but overall I'd say that the sound feels full and detailed.
Sorry for the bad audio, guys, but another thing is you can mute the audio tracks, and you can also do a secondary audio recording that records directly into the DJI mic.
I mean, you can kind of base it off of how it sounds in this video right now. It's also going to depend on the preamps on your camera. If I'm shooting on the Blackmagic 4K or maybe a better camera with preamps, it's going to sound a little bit fuller, it's going to sound a little bit more natural. If you're using a dedicated sound recorder, which the transmitter can pair to the receiver, and then the receiver can be connected directly to a Zoom F3, Zoom F6, and then that's going to obviously record and get the audio a little bit better. So in terms of tracks, you have a couple options. You have mono, stereo, and mono safety track. Mono, it's just going to record to one single transmitter. Stereo, you're going to have two if you want a little bit of ambient sound or if you want a dialogue between two characters. And then 3, mono safety. I don't know the exact decibel level that it records, but it's going to record 2 tracks, one at the level that you set it to, and then one that's just a couple decibels below. I believe it's 6. It's either -6 or -10. So basically, that's just going to ensure that if there's like yelling or if there's any kind of peaks in your audio, that second track, you're going to be fine. When I upload my video directly into DaVinci Resolve, it's going to show up with 2 audio tracks, and then that second level is your second audio track that's going to be recorded a little bit less. That way, you're not going to have to reduce your levels and have any distortion. In terms of my workflow, I find myself using mono the most often. What I do is if it's a wedding, I'll throw a transmitter directly onto the groom, and then I'll get only his audio, and then say there was an incident, the lav didn't work on the bride, then I can always bring up that level a little bit. It is going to raise the noise floor, but at least I'll have that kind of as an option. I wouldn't recommend using stereo and then using 2 transmitters, because then if you get someone talking while someone else is talking, that's more of a situation where if you're wanting to record the dialogue and you have control over it, then sure. But if you're in a live kind of shooting situation, keep to mono. Another thing I love about the DJI mic is its signal stability. I can walk around for, I think it's rated to up to 600 feet. I'm in a venue, I'm absolutely going to be fine. There's not going to be any dropouts, there's not going to be anything like that. And if there is interference and if there is a cutout, then when the subject walks back and is in close proximity again, then it picks up the signal again without you having to restart the system. So that's a good plus there. I don't know what I'm going to talk about for the next 20-30 seconds. I mean, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm doing a wedding. This is in London, Ontario. I don't know, how's the signal holding up? I'm pretty far away. I mean, any kind of venue that you're at, you shouldn't be this far away anyway at this point. All right, I'm on my way back. Like I was saying earlier, if there is a dropout, that when you do get back kind of within range, you do sort of get that connection directly back without having to do any additional adjustments. So yeah, this would be funny if I didn't press record. And then with your approach to audio in general, what I recommend is you kind of think of any kind of wireless mic as a contingency plan. If you can use mics like a Tascam DR10L, like proper lavalier mics for those critical moments, that's kind of what you want to go for. And you want to almost look at wireless transmitter mics like they're a backup.